We start with 6.43. We had done this thing last time, but we'll quickly go through it again. In rare and lucent intervals of hush, into a signless region he could soar, packed with the deep contents of formlessness, where world was into a single being wrapped, and all was known by the light of identity, and spirit was his soul's self-evident. This is a very deep spiritual experience, a very high realization also, packed with the deep contents of formlessness. Formlessness has contents, and that formlessness is packed into lucent intervals of hush. When there is deep, bright silence, it is in that deep silence, then you start seeing, so to say, the contents of the formless. The contents of the formless are becoming visible to you at that point, you see. Packed with the deep contents of formlessness, where world was into a single being wrapped. So the entire thing is one single individual. Everything. Now, this word wrapped, whether it is W-R-A-P-T or R-A-P-T. See, the old English, wrapped means covered, folded, wrapped. Now, the old English allows wrapped to be spelled as wrapped, W-R-A-P-T. The old English, the Miltonic English allows that kind of a form. PP is pronounced as PP, T is pronounced as T, PT, you see, wrapped, you see. So here, whether it is W-R-A-P-T or wrapped, that becomes a little point of argument. If this is a dictated line, then in the dictation, it is not possible to understand whether it is W-R-A-P-T or simply R-A-P-T. Savitri is saying wrapped. Now, Nirod Baran is writing it down. Now, whether he is writing W-R-A-P-T or R-A-P-T, that we can't say at all now. There is absolutely no way of deciding anything on that issue at all, you see. See, where the world was into a single being wrapped. Now, was wrapped, I mean, gives you a sense that it should be W-R-A-P-T. Not in the state, wrapped means rapture. Here, as it is, rapture, you see. It could be also R-A-P-T, you see. But it could also be W-R-A-P-T. And there is absolutely no way of deciding what it is, you see. So that will remain sort of hanging, you see. In rare and lucent intervals of hush, into a signless region he could soar, packed with the deep contents of formlessness. You see, this is a very, very complex kind of a phrase, that formlessness has contents, you see. Well, in other words, what it means is basically, it is absolute. Absolute means without anything in it. Yet, it is from absolute things are coming out. It means that the absolute is full of contents. It means that the absolute means all the possibilities are present in it. Everything is present in it, in the absolute. And because these possibilities are there, the possibilities have a form, have a shape, have a kind of a contour, you see. They are not totally without form, you see. So, the contents of formlessness is a very important thing. It is, as I was saying, when you are talking of absolute, absolute means without any content in it. But the absolute is full of content. They have not come into manifestation. The possibilities have remained possibilities. They are not visible, they are not seen. And therefore, you can also say that they are unknowable because they have not come into form, you see. Unknowable. From the unknowable, you have all the possibilities of the unknowns. There can be hundreds of unknowns in the unknowable. And those unknowns are possible to understand, to approach, to know. The unknown can be known, but the unknowable, you cannot know anything at all about it because it has kind of kept back itself, held everything back into itself. So therefore, it is unknowable. The possibilities have not come into expression. It is in the same contents of formlessness, where world was into a single being wrapped. So everything, all the creations, all the forms, whatever is there existing, is completely kind of held into it, in its own rapture, in its joy, or covered up in itself. And all was known by the light of identity, but still those things can be known if you are able to identify yourself by identity. And spirit was its own self-evidence. You don't need somebody else to say. Absolute does not want somebody to tell me that I am absolute. It knows by itself that I am absolute, you see. It's like saying, you don't want to, I know that I am Deshpande. Somebody else need not tell me that I am Deshpande, you see. It's like that, you see. Or Toby or Lily or whatever it is. They are there, you see, like that, you see, in essence. And spirit was its own self-evidence. The Supreme's gaze looked out through human eyes. Now, in other words, it is the Supreme, the non-manifest, which has come into existence, and it is through each aspect of that existence the Supreme is looking out. This is a book, this is a table, this is this, this is this. Through each one, it is the Supreme who is seeing things now. The Supreme's gaze looked out through human eyes. In other words, he has come into the human being, and it is through the human eye, the Supreme is seeing the entire panorama of this creation, whatever is there in this existence. The Supreme's gaze looked out through human eye and saw all things and creatures as itself. Obviously, when the Supreme is looking through my eyes, what does he see? That everything is me, after all. He sees every object as me, whether it is a mountain or river or an animal or a bird or whatever it be, or a man, they are me. That is what he sees all the while, completely see. The Supreme gaze looked out through human eyes and saw all things. In other words, what the human eye cannot see, cannot understand, cannot grasp the contents of the object, the Supreme able to grasp when it is looking through the human eyes. The Supreme's gaze looked out through human eye and saw all things and creatures as itself, and knew all thought and word as its own voice. Word, its own voice. See, I am hearing my own voice. Although there may be 1,000 types of voices, each singer, each musician, each person has his own individual voice. Each bird has its own cry. But it is not that. The Supreme sees its own. All knew through and word as its own voice. Yes, I am singing now like this, I am uttering like this, I am speaking like this. It is he who is seeing all those kind of things, you see. Although there are differences like that. And knew all thought and word as its own voice. There, unity is too close for search and clasp. Yes, it is so intimate. You don't have to go around and see. You don't have to look for that thing. There is no quest at all. You don't have to search for it and then clasp it. It is already clasped. It is there. It is wrapped. It is already wrapped in him. There, unity is too close for search and clasp. And love is a yearning of the one for the one. So it is not that he is seeking somebody. When there are different objects, he identifies himself with his object. So this object of the Supreme and this object of the Supreme, they are seeing each other as Supreme alone only, you see. And love is a yearning of the one for the one. And beauty is a sweet difference of the same. Each bird is singing its own voice, its own song, its own chirping. But it is the same Supreme who is singing everywhere, differently, you see. And oneness is the soul of multitude. So this is the beauty of multiplicity. See, this is the divine multiplicity. That divine multiplicity comes into picture when you are looking through the eyes, through the consciousness, through the understanding of the Supreme. Then that comes out like that. Until then, we cannot see the thing at all. See. Otherwise, each one has its own strain. There, all the truths unite in a single truth, and all ideas rejoin reality. There, all the truths, each one is a truth, each object is a truth, whether it is a pearl or a diamond, or lapis lazuli or topaz, whatever. Each one is a truth by itself, and it has its own identity also. But all these identities find themselves fulfilled in one single supreme. You see, there all the truths unite in a single truth, and all ideas rejoin reality. So, we have got any number of philosophies, any number of ideas, any number of formulations of thoughts and concepts. The whole world, in fact, that is what we have been doing all along, right? Starting from Plato or even much before than that, Heraclitus or whatever it is. We have got so many things going on. Each idea is a true idea, all right, by itself, but that idea is in conflict with other idea. There is no coherence, there is no harmony between different ideas. You see, you have got communism as an idea, you have got capitalism idea, wealth of nations as an idea, but they are in conflict in our measure. In his view, there is no conflict between them at all, you see. Ideas and ideas, they don't clash there. Each idea has its own reality, has its own content, has its own merit, has its own value. And it is that we should be nourished, we should be carried forward, you see. They are knowing herself by her own term. Yeah. They are all to unite in a single truth, and all ideas rejoin reality. Means, in other words, when that idea joins reality, it becomes a real idea. What we have now are ideas. But when idea and reality become one, then it becomes real idea. In other words, it is the supramental thought and conception. You see, real idea is the supramental formulation of things. You see, and all ideas rejoin. Now, all that is possible when the Supreme is looking through your eyes. This is the whole description. You see, mental capacity cannot really go that far at all. They are knowing herself by her own termless self. They are knowing herself by her own termless self. Now here, the pronoun has come earlier than the noun proper. The noun is wisdom. Therefore, herself and her own stand for wisdom. They are knowing herself by her own termless self. Termless, which is endless, which does not get terminated. We do not have any qualification also. Termless. You can't say this is white or this is black or this is green or anything. It has no term at all, is in that sense, you see. It is also without any descriptive aspect, adjective, you see. Pardon me? No quality. Yeah. In fact, quality is beyond quality. You can say that.